From AI stocks to green energy ETFs to cryptos and avoiding scams, I'm going to be breaking down the top 10 questions every beginner investor is asking right now and giving you the answers so you can start building wealth with confidence. So whether you're investing £10 a month to £500 a month, this video is going to be your ultimate guide. Let's get started. How do I start investing with £100 or less? Now, gone are the days where you had to have a couple of £1,000 to begin investing in the first place. Now you can invest with as little as £1. The key to this is going to be finding the provider that will allow you to invest via fractional shares. Now, what is a fractional share? If you take Tesla, for example, this is their share price right now. Traditionally, if you wanted to invest in Tesla, you would need to have the full amount to be able to buy one share of Tesla. Now, with fractional shares, it means that you can buy a fraction of the share. So if you had, say, £100 or £50, you could invest £50 and get a fraction of that whole share. There are lots of providers that will allow you to do this right now. Off the top of my head, you've got the likes of Trading 212, you've got Invest Engine, Vanguard will allow you to do this as well, Wealthify, Moneybox. Word of advice though, when you're trying to pick a provider to help you get started with this though, is make sure that you pay attention to how much you're paying in fees. So the cost for you to use them as a customer, that's going to be really, really important. You want to ensure that you're able to keep the costs down so that you end up keeping more of the returns that you potentially make when you actually invest and once you've been in the markets for some time. But very, very simply, you need to find a provider like the ones that I've just mentioned before that can help you get started. What are some of the best robo-advisors for beginners in 2025? I've already mentioned a handful of them in the previous answer, the likes of Invest Engine, Wealthify, Moneybox. They are all robo-advisors. And essentially what a robo-advisor does is when you sign up to use them, they will ask you a batch of questions and they will then assign or give you options of how your money should be invested based on the answers that you've provided to them. So they're effectively managing and doing the investment side on your behalf. They're very, very different to the likes of Trading 212 and Vanguard because you physically have to pick what your money is going to be invested in. And if you're brand new to this, that may not be something that you're going to be fully versed on. So a robo-advisor is really where you have that assistance to get you started. Now, in answering which is the best robo-advisor to use in 2025, well, there are a number of things that you need to be mindful of. The first one is, well, what is their technology like? There is nothing worse than picking a provider, but you can't get on with the way their UI, their user experience is for you. If you don't like it, it's like pulling teeth sometimes. So make sure that you test out the technology, make sure you can actually get on with it. It's easy to navigate is what I'm trying to say here. The second thing is really, really important. And that is make sure that you do a comparison on their cost. Each of these providers, you might choose a Wealthify and Moneybox, one will be more expensive than the other. What are you getting for the money that you're paying? So for example, if they're charging you more than another provider that you're looking at, what are you getting for it? So are they sending you emails, updates? Can you pick up the phone and speak to someone? These are really important things because yes, you might be paying a little bit more, but you're getting a better service. Should I invest in AI related stocks or ETFs? Now, when you think about AI, it's definitely been a theme through 2023, 2024, heating up in 2025 for sure with the likes of DeepSeek coming to market at a considerably lower cost than OpenAI. And if you think about where the direction of travel, I feel like AI is going to be a really big proponent of the market over the next 10 years or so. And so should you invest in AI related stocks and ETFs? In my opinion, absolutely, but I do think it's important for you to understand the difference between investing in an AI stock and an AI ETF as a beginner. So let's talk about that very quickly. So an AI stock is essentially a company. So an AI company that either provides products, materials, services that enable that industry or that sector to move forward. So a prime example of an AI stock would be someone like NVIDIA. NVIDIA produces the chips that go into a lot of these technologies that make it actually possible. They've had a great run recently over the course of the past, I would say, 18 months or so. Stock price has soared. So that is an example of a company. Other examples might be the likes of Meta, who own obviously Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They're going to be operating in this space. Microsoft for sure. Apple for sure, the likes of Google, which, well, Alphabet that owns Google and YouTube, they'll be in this space. There'll be players like that. So looking at those specific companies that work in that sector. Now, if you look at ETFs, for example, it's a different way of accessing the AI market or AI sector. But what you're essentially doing is all in one go, you're investing into a group of companies. So I'm going to use this as an example. This is a basket. This would be your ETF. And inside this basket are all of the companies that operate in the AI space that you will put your money into. Investing this way allows you to gain more exposure to those companies than if you were to go and pick, say, for example, an Nvidia and Microsoft, and you only had a small amount to start with. This is a better way to spread your money across loads of companies that are working in that area. And that's important for diversification purposes as well. So should you invest in AI related stocks and ETFs? Absolutely. I feel like it's going to be the way forward in the next 10 years. How do I invest in renewable energy or green technologies? Now, renewable energy, green technologies has been, again, a theme that has been running for much longer than AI. I would say that, if you're going to look to invest in this and actually how you go about doing it, probably ETFs are going to be your best bet in terms of you're going to have a basket of companies in a fund that you can put your money into, and that will help you spread your risk across those companies. So ETFs to look out for will be anything that has the label ESG. And essentially, that will give you a really good indication as to whether or not it is all about renewable energy and green technologies. Most of them are. ESG, for those of you who may be a little bit confused in terms of what that actually means, it means environmental, social, and governance. So anything with that ESG label will have a renewable energy or a green technologies kind of focus. What's the difference between Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies? This is a really topical question because obviously cryptocurrencies are seen as an alternative way of investing away from the traditional stock market. What I think is important here is to understand the difference between different cryptocurrencies. So for example, if you think about Bitcoin, one of the big things about Bitcoin is the fact that it's deemed to be digital gold. It's the largest cryptocurrency on the planet right now. There is a limited supply. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins available. So it's seen as a store of value, a hedge against inflation because of that limited number. If you think about gold in the traditional sense, gold is a finite resource, the same thing as Bitcoin, but in a digital fashion. And because of that, at the moment, Bitcoin is the largest cryptocurrency on the planet. If you think about Ethereum is almost a platform for other decentralized things to be built on top of it. Ethereum is still pretty big. It's still, I think, the second largest crypto on the planet right now. This is all about usability and user case, right? What is the user case for each coin? So if Bitcoin is digital gold and is a hedge on inflation, a store of value, and Ethereum is a way for you to build decentralized technologies on this platform, that's a user case. With other coins, it's really, really important to understand what their user case is. So what are they actually designed to do? Let's just take XRP, for example. XRP is a decentralized finance kind of like application that is designed to make international bank transfers more efficient. So if you're sending money from here to Argentina or the UK to South Africa, the traditional system that is currently in the works means that it takes longer and it costs way much more money. XRP will be working on a protocol that makes that quicker, and you can execute that transaction at a fraction of the cost. So it's about usability, but more importantly, in the case of XRP, how likely is it going to be adopted in the real world? So whenever you're looking at cryptocurrencies, those are some of the things that would be worthwhile, looking for. But you need to also understand that within cryptos, very highly volatile, obviously. And yes, that means that you can also make a lot of money very, very quickly, but it also means that you could lose the money a lot quickly if you're not quickly if you're not paying attention to the detail and you don't know what it is that you're doing. But crypto, I don't think is going away. If it's something that you want to dabble in, I would do so carefully, spend time researching, educating yourself, and getting to know exactly what the technology or the thing that you want to invest in is designed for and what its user case is. How do I avoid scams and fake investment opportunities? I've been known on YouTube to kind of call out any dodgy investment opportunities that I've seen over the past 5 years or so. I get a lot of slack for that sometimes because people say that I don't know what I'm talking about, but that's by the by. Look, my one word of advice for anyone is, if you hear about an investment opportunity and it sounds too good to be true, the likelihood is that it is too good to be true and it's going to be a scam. I see so many people who promise and give examples of, if you have £100,000, for example, this thing can provide you £4,000 per month in a return. And to, I guess, a novice, that would sound very interesting, very attractive. Who doesn't want to make or be able to take £4,000 from their investment, their £100,000 investment every month, and not have the £100,000 reduce in value? But when you really look at it for what it is and you do the mathematics, £4,000 every single month for 12 months is £48,000. And if your £100,000 does not move, the question then becomes, what is it invested in? Because there is no investment, there is no traditional stock market investment right now that has ever and will ever deliver 48% returns in 1 year. So you've got to be mindful of asking the questions that your gut is asking you to tell, and don't be afraid to peek behind the veil and ask questions. Now, many people will say in this example, well, there are lots of things that you can do, vehicles they'll call them, that you can invest in that will give you that kind of return. Believe me, they're very, very few and far between. And I've been around this stuff for most of my career, spanning 19 years. If someone is telling you that this is the case, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be a scam or a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme of some kind. So follow your gut. If your gut is telling you that it sounds too good to be true, trust your gut, do further research, ask questions. What's the best way to invest for retirement as a beginner? Now, this is something that I'm really passionate about. Look, the truth is, if you are currently in a workplace, you already have investments that are going into your future retirement, essentially, because your boss at work, as an employer, has to pay into a pension for you. They have to pay in 3% of your annual qualifying salary, and as part of that deal, you also have to pay in 5%. So the likelihood is that you're already investing for a retirement anyway. You may not just know that you are, but you can open things like, personal pensions, private pensions, for example, with the likes of all of the providers that I've mentioned before. They will have pension accounts that you can save into. You can also, save into things like ISAs, which are completely tax-free. So within an ISA, if you take an income from it, it's tax-free at the point at which you take an income from it. So look at those kind of accounts. But the first protocol and the quickest one is, if you're employed by a company, make sure that you're enrolled in their workplace pension or your workplace pension, and you have money going into it. Because if you have money going into it, I can almost guarantee you your employer is also paying money into it as well. How do I build a diversified portfolio with just a few investments? Now, I love this question. I've spoken about diversification a lot on this channel over the course of the past 5 years. I'm going to come back to this basket. So remember, in the AI example, we talked about having a number of companies that your money is invested in, and all of these companies are focused on moving AI and that technology forward. That is a form of diversification. Now, how can you do this in a very small number of investments? One thing that I would definitely start off with is having a look at a globally focused or global ETF or global index fund, right? The simplest way. Because what that will do is it will have you invested in different countries, different geographical regions across the world, and also across different industries. So AI, tech, property, banking. You'll have so many sectors, industries, and you'll have so many geographical areas also within this basket that you're invested in, and that will give you a very well diversified approach indeed. What are the risks of investing in meme stocks or trending assets? The key thing here is to remember what investing is all about. And investing is simply about putting your money into the companies that are essential to the way that we live as human beings, as a society, as a planet. Now, the issue with things like meme stocks is that sometimes they may provide a service or something that we actually need to survive as a species, but just sometimes it's all about hype. And this is what you'll find with a lot of meme stocks, a lot of meme coins in the crypto space. It's all about hype. They're trending, and so therefore there's a lot of attention on them. And there is a saying, if it's in the news, you're already too late. So whilst this may sound counterintuitive, particularly in 2025, the ones to invest in aren't the ones that necessarily have all the hype around them and they're in the news for whatever reason. The companies really to try and make sure that you are focused on are the companies that have been here for a while. They've been around for a long time. They're integral. I mean, for example, I'm using Apple products right now. I've got an Apple Mac. I've got a desktop Apple right here, a Mac Pro. I've got my iPhone, which is an Apple here. These are companies that have been around for a very long time. Focus on the companies that you recognize, that you use, that your family uses on a day-to-day basis. Because sometimes these meme stocks or these trending assets may not necessarily be those types of companies. So it's steady Eddie. It's normally the boring companies that make a good investment in the long run. How do I learn about investing without feeling overwhelmed? Now look, I know that investing in itself can seem like a very complex topic and there is a lot to it, but I think ultimately it's very important to try and take this at your own pace, right? So one of the main things that I'm going to really try and drive home in this point is make sure that you have a trusted source of information that you listen to, and maybe not listen to blindly. And I never ask anyone to listen to me blindly on this channel, but you use it as a point to do your own research from. So you might hear a few nuggets in this video about ETFs. You might decide, how do I go and find a little bit more about ETFs? It should always be used as a point of further research, but your trusted source of information is absolutely important. I've created an investor's starter bundle, and in that starter bundle, you're going to get a couple of guides, but you'll also get 2 webinars. One on Vanguard, which is one of the largest, most cost-effective providers in the world, and how you actually use that platform, how you pick what's actually in there, what the things that you're seeing if you're using them means, and it can be overwhelming if you're a first-time investor. And also a webinar where I partnered with Invest Engine, who is ironically in some cases even cheaper than Vanguard, walking you through how you use the platform, how you open an account, how they actually help you pick investments. It's almost like a full guide tutorial. That will be available as a link in the comment section down below. Now it is an investment, it's $20.99 plus VAT, which is probably about £21, something like that. It's less than what most people would spend on a takeaway right now. And because you get the recordings, you can replay them, go back and watch them anytime that you want. If you have any questions, there are Q&A sessions in there as well. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. But if you're looking to invest for the first time this year in 2025, one thing I can promise you is this: it will be one of the best decisions that you'll ever make, because at the end of the day, investing over the long term and taking advantage of compound interest, the stuff that we don't get taught in school that the wealthy have known for years, is how wealth is actually built. It's how you put your money to good use. The screenshot was one of my investment portfolios between December the 1st, 2024 and the 20th of January, 2025. And within that 51-day period, I made 4,800 quid. You tell me how else you can have your money grow at that extent for you doing nothing. So investing, if you're not investing in 2025, you really should. Hope you found this useful. Hope you find it valuable. Please let me know in the comment section if you have any questions. I'll catch you in the next one.